today. I'm going to start on DeSantis, but there's some huge stories outside of DeSantis I'm going to get to a little later. Oh, man. Oh, do we have a lot to talk about on the program today? One of the busiest news Mondays I can remember in ages. Welcome to the show. It is Monday morning, April 24th, 2023. My name is Brian Craig, and of course, this is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. All right. So I hope everything's okay in Florida today and this week, because we've been abandoned by our governor. Ron DeSantis is in Japan. He's doing, I'm calling it the Right Said Fred tour. And some of you guys will get that. A lot of you won't. And he's not going to all the right, said Fred locations, but some of them: Japan, South Korea, the UK, and Israel. I'm shocked he's not going to Taiwan. Maybe he will and surprise us. What's he doing? Well, he's running for president, which is against Florida law while he's governor. But anyway, he's still doing it. But there are some huge reveals on Ron DeSantis that we are going to cover here on the program right from the start. And President Trump has assembled a team of people working on the Trump campaign who used to work for Ron DeSantis. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but there's an article in the Telegraph out of the UK, which is one of the stops of Ron DeSantis, and its headline is "Inside the Collapse of Ron DeSantis's Presidential Campaign." So the campaign is collapsing before it's even officially been announced. Let me read through this article, and you will not want to miss a minute of today's show. I've got some really hot, revealing things that you will not want to miss, I promise you. So this is an article out of the Telegraph out of the UK, where DeSantis will be traveling on the Right Said Fred tour. And I'm just going to read you from the article here. Read to you from the article. Ron DeSantis had a clear mission as he prepared to leave the governor's mansion in Florida for Washington this week. Remember, he went up to D.C. to check in with the swamp. The 44-year-old was on a charm offensive in the U.S. Capitol, hoping to gain endorsements from Republican congressmen for his 2024 presidential bid. But before his plane had even taken off, Mr. DeSantis's plan hit a stumbling block. Two congressmen from his own state had just backed Donald Trump. Uh-oh. By the end of the week, half of the Republicans representing Florida in the House had declared their support for Mr. Trump. A quick succession of endorsements for Trump followed on Capitol Hill, eclipsing Mr. DeSantis's trip and any hope of a media boost, all without Mr. Trump leaving his beachfront mansion in Palm Beach. Oh, boy. Not going too well, DeSantis. Oh, man. The incident is symptomatic of the early headwinds that a red-faced Mr. DeSantis is facing as he prepares to challenge Trump for the Republican nomination. To mount a convincing bid, DeSantis will need the backing of influential Republican lawmakers. Mr. DeSantis, who was due to travel to Britain on a trade mission in a bid to burnish his credentials as an international statesman, began the year riding high. But the sharks are circling. These are not my words. This is the article I'm reading. Oh, my goodness. GOP donors saw his decisive win in the country's largest swing state as evidence that the young governor could be a leader for the party's next generation, but a string of missteps and a slump in the polls. By the way, another new poll out today. President Trump, another poll with another double-digit lead for President Trump over Ron DeSantis. But a string of missteps and a slump in the polls has slowed his momentum and even led the most loyal fans to voice doubts about his presidential aspirations. That's right. Do we have any more DeSantis people out there? I haven't heard from the DeSantis people in a while on the phones. Some are openly questioning whether Mr. DeSantis should declare his candidacy at all. The Trump campaign clearly sees blood in the waters, and the sharks are circling around DeSantis, says Dennis Lennox, a GOP strategist. The question is, can he, meaning DeSantis, can he ride this out? I'm sure someone who supports him, and I'm not sure he told the Telegraph. This is very bizarre writing. I don't understand what that means. All eyes are now on Florida's two Republican senators, Rick Scott and Marco Rubio, who hold considerable sway and are yet to endorse in the 2024 GOP primary. If they were to endorse Trump or just stay neutral, it'd be very difficult for DeSantis, said Lennox, who stressed the importance of support from senior figures in a candidate's home state. See, it's come very obvious that Ron DeSantis has already lost Florida. If he can't win his home state, what hope is there, huh? Allies have also expressed frustration with Mr. DeSantis' lack of charisma. Sources close to the governor have suggested he is overly reliant on his own political instincts. Being on Trump's coattails, I guess he figured, he doesn't understand. See, he won election and re-election with Trump's clout, not his, right? On Trump's coattails, not as on his own here. Sources close to the governor have suggested he is overly reliant on his own political instincts and those of his wife, Casey, rather than seasoned campaign managers. Well, what background does she have in political strategy? Wood Ayers, who worked for the governor on his 2018 race, said DeSantis he's not listening to the staff, even though they just helped him win re-election. He has no one around him who's been around him, so he doesn't have a team around him that has gone through the fire of a very close campaign together. Another Republican operative said this was hurting DeSantis with both supporters and donors. He's great at governing, but lousy as a politician, the operative said. The lack of finesse when it comes to traditional retail politics is believed to have spooked donors. Strategists in Mr. DeSantis' orbit have questioned the delay in announcing his presidential bid. And it goes on and on. So we are at the beginning of the end, maybe midway, or maybe we are at the end of the DeSantis presidential campaign before it was even announced. But it's worse than that. It gets worse, people. Now, we'll take our first break of the week. When we get back, oh boy, this next segment you will not want to miss, I promise you. It's worse for DeSantis than even what I just shared with you. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's Monday morning, and man, we've only just scratched the surface. We'll be back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE 1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Experience awe-inspiring landscapes and traverse the great Canadian Rocky Mountains on Rocky Mountaineer Train with bilevel glass-filled coaches August 15th through 20th. The only passenger rail service that runs on a historic railroad connecting Canada from east to west. Are you ready to embark on this unforgettable journey? Head to BrianTrain.com and request to be sure with your spot now and make memories that will last a lifetime. That's BrianTrain.com.
Oh yeah, it's worse. Welcome, everyone. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, during the break, take the chance to like the video. That helps grow the channel, guys. When you like the video, it tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to others that have not yet discovered my channel. So that's a good thing. Oh, man. Oh, it's getting worse. We've never seen someone self-destruct in politics like this, I don't think. There's been people involved in scandals and everything, but I've never seen someone just self-destruct like this and so unaware. If he had any clue, DeSantis, on how bad things were, he wouldn't be in Japan. He'd be here in Florida trying to win back his support. He'd be at Mar-a-Lago kissing the ring, but he doesn't even have an idea of how unpopular he is. What's he doing in Japan? Trade mission. Give me a break. Goodness gracious.
Any joint I can do, shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica, stenosis, arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, from the foot all the way up to the neck.
Who's paying for the trip? I don't know. His book publisher, Florida? I don't know.
Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton what about him on the radio. You need to have hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office. The mini lab test hour. Guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. All appointment charges or prescription. You're in and out. Minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Control of your health care with the mini lab test hour. Boca. Mini lab test hour.
All right, here we go.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. We're talking about the collapse of Ron DeSantis' campaign. Here's a question. Do you want to turn the U.S. economy over to a man who does not even own a car? I don't know another grown man in Florida that has a job that does not own a car. Very strange. Very strange. Oh, man. You know, my daughter's in town visiting. She came to stay with us from California. Came to visit us for my birthday. She's still here for 2 weeks. She came to visit us for 2 weeks. And we had converted her bedroom into another type of room. So we got rid of her bed when she moved to California. But since she was coming for 2 weeks, we got her a new bed to put in there. So she had somewhere to sleep. And we got her the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0, the upgrade on the regular MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper. This one has the cooling technology in it. And she slept on this new bed with and without the MyPillow mattress topper 2.0. She slept on it once before she put it on the bed. And she said the bed that we got her, the mattress, it was like sleeping on concrete. That's what she said. She said it was like sleeping on a slab of concrete. And now with the MyPillow mattress topper 2.0, she says it's like sleeping on a cloud because it turns your whole bed into a MyPillow. So we turned a concrete-like mattress. We should have just done away with the mattress, right? And just put this on the box. But she said the mattress that felt like a slab of concrete is now a cloud. The MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper 2.0 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com, is 40% off and free shipping if you use our promo code Kane. 40% off and free shipping. Mother's Day is right around the corner. It makes a great gift for Mother's Day. Comes in every mattress size there is. And also, you can take advantage of all the specials you see at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane, not just the ones I talk about. You can also order by phone 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa in Texas.
Oh, hey, Lisa.
And hey, listen, this whole thing with Ron, I mean, so he's in Japan and he's going to South Korea, right?
Yeah, then the UK and Israel.
So, I mean, has his book been translated already into Japanese and South Korean?
I don't know. Maybe he's over there looking to buy a car in Japan since he doesn't own a car. I don't know.
I mean, this is so crazy. crazy. And here's the funny thing: when I saw him, they did a little thing from him on Fox News, and they said something about him running for president. And he did this weird head bobble, going, "Oh well, I'm not a nominee yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not." And it made him look so insecure and unsure of himself. And maybe he's starting to understand it, but I don't know. It's like he's a puppet for the right now. It's really
Well, if Ron DeSantis had any clue as to how bad things were, having lost, Florida no longer supports him, so he's unelectable forever, not just nationally, but he's also unelectable forever in Florida. Okay, if he were in the slightest bit self-aware of this fact, he would not be in Japan. He'd be here in Florida trying to win back support.
right, especially after the flooding.
Mhm.
Everything that's happened there, it's just ridiculous. And and I wanted to say, I finally got my 3-inch topper,
Oh,
my MyPillow 2.0, and it has changed our bed. I mean, I was going to have to buy a new mattress. I don't have to now. You're right. It's made it wonderful. Along with, I got 2 more pillows, queen size this time. I got my towels came in. I got my slippers for my husband and me, my new size that fits. And let's see what else. I got my robe. I got my sheets.
wow.
Sheets finally. So I got almost got everything now.
Well, you are officially living in a MyPillow home right now. You may have more MyPillow products than Mike Lindell.
Yeah, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that MyPillow that MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper is amazing, by the way.
It has changed the bed. It does. It really does. When I rolled it out, I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. This is pretty sturdy.
Mhm.
It really is wonderful. So I definitely advise anybody, you don't need a new mattress. Just get the mattress topper, man. It just completely changes it.
That's right. That's right. All right, Lisa, take care. Thanks so much. All right. Yeah, she knows what she's talking about. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, you're on the
I think the last lady said it best. Why is he overseas and not down there in Florida taking care of the problems like the flooding and worrying about getting American support instead of foreign? I understand he has no foreign policy experience, but he's so dumb that he's giving up anybody that would still support him and looking to other world leaders. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense at all.
No, it doesn't. And it really is another reason that not only is he unelectable, but he shouldn't be, because his judgment is so poor and he doesn't know what's going on. President Trump amazes me with how informed he is on everything that's going on in the news with everybody all the time. Ever since he came down the escalator, do these interviews, he's so aware of everything. Ron DeSantis must be so shielded in some bubble. I mean, how could he not understand that he has lost the support of the people of Florida,
let alone the country?
Mm-hmm. And there's no way that he could win the presidency if he cannot win his own state.
And I don't, when that moment when they asked him about running for president, that was kind of,
yeah.
So I think he did that to get a certain effect, but it backfired. It was ridiculous. It made him look foolish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you really think what do you think he's doing in Japan? Trying to look like he's got international experience? What's he doing while he's there that would involve international anything other than being a tourist?
I think he's trying to look to be internationally
seen
or known.
Mm-hmm.
He had no foreign or international experience before.
Well, yeah, but you know what? Being a tourist to Japan, that's not really international governing experience. He's just there as a tourist.
Oh, it wasn't in the fight. It wasn't in the political.
Well, I just don't understand what the governor of Florida could be doing over there. I mean, is he over there trying to get Sony to open up a factory in Florida? I mean, I don't know what he's doing that would be real real anything. I know they're calling it a trade mission, but that's just BS. What trade mission is he on? What is his mission, and what does he plan on accomplishing as far as trade goes? I haven't heard an agenda.
I think he's trying to look relevant internationally when he isn't even relevant in Florida anymore.
Well, he should be most concerned with being relevant in Florida right now.
Correct.
But it's done. He's burned the bridge. He's burned the bridge here in Florida. He's done.
Did he ever go to Fort Lauderdale and see the flooding? Did he ever do anything?
No, not that I've seen, not that I know of. No. He did ask. He did declare a state of emergency a couple days ago, about a week after the event. Little late, huh?
Wow. Yeah, that's a bit late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thankfully, it wasn't a major hurricane.
No, and he is not being relevant to the people that got him elected.
Mm-hmm.
How does that help him to the next level, being nationally recognized?
That's right.
Everything just
listen, Jeff. I got to run for our break, but thanks for the call. Great call from Jeff there. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We'll be back right after this.
Making morning radio great again. You're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, I'm gonna go turn the air conditioning down. It's hot. Be right back, guys.
The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Today, it's a WPBF 25 first warning weather day, as we're expecting the potential for some severe storms this afternoon. Either way, some heavy rain.
Hey, guys. If you're new, welcome to my channel. Take some more calls, and then this next article is just brutal. I mean, think about it. When's the last time there was a good news story for Governor DeSantis? Can anyone remember? I can't remember. The chair is not locked in. Somebody loosened the footrest on the chair. I put my feet in it and it came right down. There we go. This is our bottom of the hour break. Oh, this chair's kind of broken. That's the problem. The chair's kind of broken. Better not sit in it too long.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. The BKC Sports Card and Memorabilia Show is coming up this Sunday with great vendors, door prizes, free admission, and more. Coming up May 6th, check out the On Track Kentucky Derby Fest with Jumbo Screen, live music from Sip and Fire and the Connected, Derby Hat Contest, barbecue food tent, bars, and Juleps fun activities.
Made in China, yeah. This chair could fall out from under me at any point. Let me see if I can tighten it up. Yeah, let's see. Well, hey, listen, if the chair falls apart while I'm sitting in it on YouTube, at least I get a viral video out of it, even if I break my neck, right? Hopefully the chair won't fall. I tighten it up, but it feels kind of loose. I rarely sit while I'm broadcasting, but I twisted my ankle over the weekend, so a little painful.
They're sold in a lot of the liquor stores in town that carry CBD products, maybe like Crown or ABC. I slept great, and my joints were like not inflamed at all. Everything was made with fruit juices. They were vegan. They were gluten free. They were great.
MAGA didn't turn on him; he turned on MAGA. turned on us.
I'm going to boobersrose.com.
It probably would, yeah. Jack, how old are you? 6? You know, come on.
Call Debbie and I will advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326.
With a name like that.
1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. All aspiring landscapes that traverse the great Rocky Mountains off the Rocky
I'm just reading a couple articles I'm going to be talking about later on the show. No, his name. It's just kind of a childish name.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Callers on hold. Stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We're talking about the collapse of the Ron DeSantis presidential campaign before it's even begun. And that article I went through in the first segment of the hour was pretty brutal, but is nothing compared to what's coming up in the next article. Wait till you hear this. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
You know, that first story you read about these endorsements by the House members, those are big endorsements, you know, but here's the deal. Think about this. The biggest endorsement that would definitely end his campaign would be Marco Rubio. Now, he had to come out either way, but just remember what's happening between Rubio and Trump with the whole little Marco and all that stuff. And politicians tend to be thin-skinned and remember things like that. And it'd be huge if Marco Rubio, who's only one of 100
Yeah.
It would be huge if Marco Rubio comes out and endorses.
Well, you got to ask yourself this question, okay? Since Bragg Soros had his and that whole business began a few weeks ago, when is the last time Ron DeSantis has had a positive news story? When has he not had a bad news day since he came out and said if Bragg comes to Florida and arrests Trump, he's not going to get involved? When, somebody during the break asked me or said, they didn't ask me, they just said it, Ron DeSantis misjudged how fast MAGA would turn on him. And I said to them, I said, MAGA didn't turn on DeSantis. DeSantis turned on us.
Absolutely. As I remember, the last positive thing that he did was probably that him building that bridge to that island.
That was like it last year, man, and that was before he turned on President Trump and the MAGA movement. Hey, appreciate the call. So listen to this. Mike in Louisiana, always a good caller to the program. So President Trump has assembled a team of people that are working on his 2024 reelection campaign that used to work for Ron DeSantis. And they hate Ron DeSantis. Basically, Ron DeSantis, it appears, I'm going to go through this article. It's from Rolling Stone. Ron DeSantis is basically, according to the people that worked for him, he's basically like the lady in The Devil Wears Prada, a terrible bully boss. Listen to this. This is in Rolling Stone. Donald Trump loathes Ron DeSantis. Now, again, I'm reading from liberal Rolling Stone, so the words and the phrases are not mine. They're Rolling Stone's, but this is a very, very revealing article. Donald Trump loathes Ron DeSantis for the Florida governor's disloyal challenge to his iron grip on the Republican Party. Wow, yes. The president's anger, however, is dwarfed by the intense desire harbored by some of Trump's key aides and allies who want to see Ron DeSantis politically ruined. These advisors, lawmakers, and operatives personally know DeSantis or used to work for him. Now, some of them are working to re-elect Trump and have brought their intimate knowledge of DeSantis's operations and also what makes Trump's likely 2024 primary rival tick. Just as importantly, some of the Team DeSantis turned Team Trump contingent have talked to the ex-president and how best to relentlessly mess with DeSantis, assuring Trump that the Florida governor is uniquely insecure and sensitive and that it's easy to get in his head, according to two sources who have spoken with Rolling Stone. This is awesome. Oh, yeah. If Ron thinks the last couple of months have been bumpy, he's in for a painful ride, says a third source who used to be on Team DeSantis and is now in the Trump orbit. The person continues, the nature of the conversations among the people who used to work for Ron DeSantis is just so frequently, okay, how can we destroy this guy? That's something, huh? These are the people that worked for him. It is not at all at a level that is normal for people who hold usual grudges against horrible bosses. It's a pure hatred that is much, much purer than that. People who were traveling with Ron DeSantis every day, who worked with him very closely over the years, to this day joke about how it was always an open question whether or not Ron DeSantis even knew their names. And that's just the start of it. One Trump advisor who also knows DeSantis told Rolling Stone, oh, I've told Trump several times how easy it is to mind F Ron. Now, I can't say the word there. Got to read this article slowly. It's Rolling Stone. Adding, they've told Trump that DeSantis takes little slights and digs incredibly personally and doesn't really let things go. Trump is aware that the Florida governor is tailor-made for him to effectively mess with until Ron backs down. Well, this is great. This is great stuff. Ron is not someone who can just walk it off. This is another person that used to be on Team DeSantis. I know because I made a light-hearted joke to him once, and he got mad and held it against me. The Trump advisor adds, Team Trump does not want to just beat him, DeSantis. Team Trump want to humiliate DeSantis more than they've ever wanted to humiliate anyone on a national stage. And that is what is driving a lot of this. DeSantis' spokesperson did not respond to Rolling Stone's request for comment. So, yeah, it's bad. It's brutal. And, the thing here with Governor DeSantis, when you have a team of people that have worked for him for years at different times come together like this, what does that say about the guy? How bad is he? And this is crazy. There's a disgruntled ex-employee here and there, but an entire team of people who worked for Ron DeSantis at different points in his career have banded together against him like this. And it's like they said, it's not the normal kind of, okay, I had a bad boss. It's brutal because they know him. Megyn Kelly on her show let out some very interesting information. Let me play this. This is Megyn Kelly. And remember, Megyn Kelly has no love for President Trump. Remember all that stuff that went on with her and President Trump in the first campaign? This is Megyn Kelly on our most recent show, little clip here, talking about Governor DeSantis and a problem that he has. Listen to this.
Some friends of mine were at one of these dinners with him. You know, he's not dumb. He's been having these muckety-muck dinners with very wealthy donors, and they were at one of them, and their comment on DeSantis, who they really liked, I mean, they like him on paper, was that the entire dinner, he did not ask one question of anyone there. It was all about himself. He was happy to talk about himself, but he showed zero interest in the people around the table, which is a cardinal sin in how to run a dinner party, how to be at a dinner party, never mind how to run for president. Trump is probably the opposite, right? Even as a reporter, Trump would call me all the time. He'd send me notes all the time, newspaper articles about him. He wanted to make sure I saw. I actually think it could matter.
Okay, so this is huge. Now, if any of you have ever met a politician, a successful politician, and I've met a lot, presidents, wannabe presidents, senators, House members, local officials, successful, and I've seen this at the presidential level with sitting presidents when I've been in their presence. Anytime you're with these upper level, top tier, successful elected officials, I never really thought about this too much until I heard Megyn Kelly talking about her friend's experience with Governor DeSantis. When they're talking to people, they never talk about themselves. They always ask about them. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you live? You married? Your kids? How's work? How's your business? Where do you go to school? They don't talk about themselves. They ask about the person. And I've seen that so many times. And like I said, it never occurred to me until I heard Megyn Kelly talk about DeSantis. He's got a major personality defect, and it ain't good. Now, I want to tell you guys, it's been 2.5 weeks since my most recent treatment from my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton, and his laser away pain treatment. I've talked about this. My shoulder was in so much pain. I just went late in the day on a Friday, one treatment. The next day, the pain completely gone. 2.5 weeks later, boom, it has not returned. It's amazing. You know, if you have pain, excruciating pain, back pain, sciatica, joint pain, tinnitus, tennis elbow, neck pain, any type of pain, herniated disc, maybe you've been told you need surgery. Don't go have that surgery until you meet with Dr. Philip Appleton. He's a chiropractic physician, and he wants to rid you of your pain. The laser away pain treatment works. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome. His number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonChiro.com. When you stop in and see Dr. Appleton, make sure you tell him you heard about him on the radio. His laser away pain treatment works. It's rid me of 3 different types of pain: knee injury, shoulder pain, arthritis, gone. Go see Dr. Appleton. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs or Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Bramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsborough. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. Make sure you mention you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
If you have certain chronic conditions such as heart disease,
Asthma.
diabetes, and your 19
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the video.
42, you may be at
JP, welcome.
risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. A Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine.
Not looking good for DeSantis.
Was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com. I'm going to ask my doctor
About getting vaccinated.
with Prevnar 20.
Hello, this is Mika Friendly Tire. I've been in business for 30 years at the same location.
Well, welcome, 7Cam. This is our quarter till break. We'll be back live in just a minute. Who cares about DeSantis? Well, he's running against Trump, so we care about him a lot. Yeah, everyone, welcome, 7Cam, new viewer here on the channel. Welcome.
Over the phone, new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we're realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
All right, here we go. Coming back.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right. Yes. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford.
Hey, Bill.
Here's what I think, and it's just an opinion. I think what happened with Ron DeSantis is he was very successful in his first term, and he was taking advice from his staff. Then all of a sudden, the Karl Rose and the Bushes and the Paul Ryans took over and threw the staff under the bus, and then they now have an animosity towards their boss, who was very successful, taking advice from them. That's just my opinion.
Well, these evildoers, the Karl Roves and the Bushes and all this behind Ron DeSantis, they don't care that he's unelectable forever. To them, they're just using him as a tool to go after President Trump.
Right.
And
that's what happened to his staff. I mean, if you work for a governor and you get him elected and you get him reelected, then all of a sudden you're nothing to your boss.
Well, I'm going to correct you. I'm going to correct you a little bit. President Trump got him elected and reelected, and Ron DeSantis, a lot of people are saying his ego exploded because he flipped Dade County, Miami. President Trump had a rally in Miami-Dade County before the election, and I would argue that it was President Trump who flipped Dade County, not Ron DeSantis.
Well, I just think it's a shame because something happened to him, and
ego.
He was doing good, and all of a sudden, everything flipped.
I told you guys about a week or so before the election. I was with him at the private function over at Wings Plus, and I came in that Monday. I was very reluctant to do it because he had not outed himself yet. I said he looks different. He's in love with himself. He had that look, that smirk on his face of someone who's in love with himself. I said he's not the same Ron DeSantis I saw 4 years ago.
Well, yeah, because they got a hold of him and they promised him money, and then they built his ego.
Do you know why he's in Japan? You're in Sanford, Florida. Why is he in Japan?
I have no idea, and who's paying for it?
We are, and maybe the book publisher. All right, take care from Sanford, Florida. All right, good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Good morning to you.
Oh, I got to talk to you after your thing. There's something I got to talk to you about on the air, but at the end of the call. And don't worry, I'm not going to go after you. I got an email from a listener about a conversation we had on Friday, and I want to explain it. But do what you wanted to talk about first.
Yeah, I don't think. Listen, first of all, I don't like. I'm going to vote for President Trump regardless because I think he's the most qualified. but we're taking out our bullpen because President Trump, right off the bat, started with the crap of personally attacking the man. Didn't attack the job he's done in Florida, attacked him personally, which he probably had every right to do because he felt like he was.
No, excuse me, what happened with President Trump is President Trump had gotten wind before it was publicly known that he was meeting with Paul Ryan. There had been some rumors about it, and Trump knew that he was meeting with Paul Ryan and the Bushies and all of these Karl Rove types, and that's why he did it. So no, it was Ron DeSantis who made the first move, not Trump. It just wasn't public.
He called him, deep sanctimonious or whatever he called him. But the point I'm bringing up is like President Trump is your ace pitcher on a baseball team, and you're destroying your bullpen. And my concern is President Trump is a little older than I am, and whether you're in great shape or not, God forbid, if anything.
Are you kidding me? This is what happened. When he was Ron DeSantis, like I said, Ron DeSantis may not have betrayed President Trump or MAGA. Maybe he was fake all along. He was a Donnie Brasco spy who was fake MAGA. I played a clip a few weeks ago of him before Trump's endorsement when he was running for governor and losing. He was talking about climate change, and he said that he personally can see the sea levels rising around the state of Florida. And he never was MAGA, and he probably never was really with Trump. He was just lying. So I mean, we know because he exposed himself. It's more than policy. He's a liar. He's a liar. He cannot be trusted.
Let me ask you a question. Who's next in line? God forbid he's talking.
I don't know.
Who's next?
I don't know. Well,
And then listen.
Maybe Robert Kennedy Jr. can be Trump's vice president.
I'm not talking about vice president. I'm talking about, God forbid, something else.
Listen, speak for your own health. I saw President Trump on Mark Levin last night, and he looked fantastic. And by the way, Greg Kelly from Newsmax was in Palm Beach over the weekend interviewing the president, and I imagine he'll look great there too.
Yeah, but I understand that. But I've seen people look great and drop dead the next day. I'm not pushing that upon anybody, but he's going to be able.
Let me tell you, he's in. You look at President Trump. He's 30 years older than me, and he's in better physical condition and has more energy than I do. We'll wait and see. It's not important right now. I don't want some traitor. Now I got a very nasty, angry email Friday about a conversation that you and I had. And, Richie the bus driver has been a listener of the Steve Kane Show longer than I've been a part of it. And sometimes I tell people I used to ride Richie's bus before I had a car, when I was in middle school and high school, and I'd go to the mall or the beach. And a lot of people wonder, how do you remember Richie? Because he had a big mouth then. He was just a lot thinner. And I used to ride your bus quite frequently. Yeah, and I even remember Richie giving me a transfer once or twice. Once I was going to the Galleria Mall on the bus, and you gave me a transfer and told me how to get there. But anyway, the thing about this email and what happened, Richie and I got a long history together on the program, and I made a comment that they didn't understand, and they thought it was a racist comment. You would said that black people in your neighborhood think something or other, and I had said the only black people in your neighborhood, Richie, are like the lawn guys. And this person, this very angry black listener, emailed me one of the longest emails I've gotten in the last few weeks, and it was just calling me a redneck and racist and all these things. Richie, a few years ago, moved to what is arguably the whitest city in all of Florida, right? Remember that? It was very, 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 yeah, he lives in Sebastian, Florida. And before that, he lived in Hollywood, Florida. And I remember when he moved from Hollywood, Florida to Sebastian, Florida, I went and looked at the census. And at the time, Hollywood, Florida was like 75% minority. And Sebastian, where you moved to, is like 98% white. And Richie and I had a lot of conversations about moving from a majority minority city to the whitest city in Florida. And that's where that comment came from. But the reason I bring this up, I wanted to do it with Richie. If you are ever listening to this program and you hear me or Steve Kane or even one of our callers say something that ticks you off, we're here taking your calls live on the air. Confront us on the air. You don't have to hide behind 1,500 words in an email. And I think that if the person were to listen to this conversation, they would get sometimes, because this is the longest running radio show, many of the callers, the interactions we have, some of them, like with Richie, could be 30 years old, and you're not up to speed on all the context of everything. But don't hide behind emails. Call us live on the air. I'm not going to share the name of the person. I know who it is because they did sign it. And they do call, and they've called many times on the program, but I'm not going to say their name unless they call in.
Okay, let me make a comment. First of all, I lived in Hollywood. I lived there from 1967. I watched the city totally deteriorate. Not because it went from white to brown, because it went from no crime to a lot of crime. And Hollywood Beach is a dump. Decided to move, and I moved because a guy told me on a cruise ship that this was paradise up here, not because it was white, but because it was no crime and the housing was affordable.
That's correct.
Simply, when I checked it out, that's why I left.
Yeah, I know. I understand. Richie's not a racist. He didn't move because of the skin color. He moved because of economics.
Economics
and crime.
I was retiring, and crime, and there's nothing up here. I hate to say this. I live in a community. My community has about 375 houses, and we have probably about 10 black owners in the whole place, and they're decent people. There's no crime around here. The only police, all they do is give speeding tickets. Very little, any action up there.
Yeah.
She's great for.
Well, maybe we shouldn't broadcast that. Maybe we shouldn't advertise that. But anyway, bad guys might be listening. All right, Richie, take care. Yeah. So you are welcome to call us out on the. When I say us, I mean me, a caller, Steve. You are welcome to call us out on the carpet anytime you hear something on the air that upsets you. Okay, and I'll explain myself, and maybe I'll be wrong and you'll be right. I don't know. But that's what we do here. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. I want to tell you about this incredible tour on the Rocky Mountaineer through the great and beautiful Canadian Rockies coming up August 15th through the 20th. The Rocky Mountaineer train is a bi-level train that has a glass dome at the top, so you get a great view as you're on that train across the Great White North. And this time of year, August, perfect time of year. Here in Florida, throughout the United States, it'll be so hot, so humid. The temperature is perfect in Canada in the month of August. When you're on this incredible trip, you're going to have top shelf beverages, incredible food, local gourmet dishes. To learn more about this incredible tour, go to briantrain.com. When you go to briantrain.com, request a brochure. It gives you all the details. The Rocky Mountaineer train is the only passenger rail service that runs the historic rail route connecting Canada from east until west. Oh, man, you're going to find just beautiful, awe-inspiring landscapes. There's award-winning service from the host on this trip who attend to your every need, including entertaining guests with stories about landmarks and wildlife sightings along the way. This is a perfect tour for anyone who loves adventure, nature, and beautiful, breathtaking landscapes. I mean, it really is. It's good. It's just amazing. So go to briantrain.com and request a brochure. That is briantrain.com. Request a brochure all about the Rocky Mountaineer train through beautiful Canada. All right. 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break at the top of the hour here. Come back with much more. We've only just begun. We'll be right back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rope Studio. Injured recently? Call the Ropes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Ropes, winning for you and our community. your home for the Steve Kane Show.
I'll be right back, guys.
Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Today, it's a WPBF 25 first warning weather day as we're expecting the potential for some severe storms this afternoon. Either way, some heavy rains moving through. If we do see anything severe, it could pull up a quick funnel cloud or even some very high wind gusts of up to 60 miles an hour. On WPBF 25 first warning, meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel
On the
Club.
Palm Beaches this morning, the major expressways are crash-free, moving up to speed between Boca Raton and Jupiter along I-95 and the Turnpike. Look out for a disabled vehicle on the off-ramp on the I-95 southbound ramp to Forest Hill Boulevard. Also off to the right shoulder along I-95 heading northbound at Bellevue Road. And also look out for a disabled vehicle blocking the right shoulder on 95 heading southbound past Gilford Park. This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Shoppers, this is your local sweet corn farmer letting you know that Florida sweet corn is in season. Ask for Fresh from Florida. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com, and happy eating from the Florida Department of Agriculture. That's traffic. Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. BBKC Sports Card and Memorabilia Show is coming up this Sunday with great vendors, door prizes, free admission, and more. Coming up May 6th, check out On Track Kentucky Derby Fest.
All right, I made it back.
Live music from Fire and the Connected, Derby Hat Contest, barbecue food tent, bars, mint juleps, fun activities, and more. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Hey, guys, did you see President Trump on Mark Levin last night? You know, yes or no? That was a great interview. Oh, I got a sneeze coming on. Great interview. Great interview. Boy, oh boy, guys. I am lost here. Where am I? Okay.
And I think Froze is Frose. They're sold in a lot of the liquor stores in town that carry CBD products, maybe like Crown or ABC. I slept great, and my joints were like not inflamed at all. Everything was made with fruit juices. They were vegan. They were gluten-free. They were great. Yeah, CBD is legal under the Farm Act, and it's sold everywhere.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And everyone like the video. There's over 1,000 people in the live stream. So make sure you all like the video. That helps the channel grow. No doubt about it. And, of course, this is the most pro-Donald Trump MAGA place on all of YouTube, I promise you. Boy, oh boy, guys. Okay, here we go.
Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weak immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve King Show with Brian Craig.
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian. It is the Steve King Show, 6 minutes after the hour. It is Monday morning. Did you guys catch the Trump interview last night on Mark Levin? It was spectacular. That was Mark Levin's best interview. And if you notice, that's the third interview in a row, spectacular interview on Fox. We had Hannity, Tucker, and now Levin. And all three of them, Tucker, Hannity, and Levin last night, all did the same thing, which was a beautiful thing and very smart move. They didn't talk. They would just ask a quick question and just let President Trump talk, and then they'd go to break, come back, ask a question, let him talk. No interruption, no endless questions, and that's was great. And he told a lot of great stories last night that I've not heard before that were beautiful. I love that part in the book because he was there talking about his great book. My favorite letter in Trump's book, everybody may have a favorite letter, but my favorite letter is the one from Alec Baldwin praising Donald Trump. That's the best one. Oh, man. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Wow. You know, I got something to say about President Trump's re-election. I was, I know some liberals and and all of a sudden, two of the liberals get talking, saying that I'm done with Biden. So I had to get in there and say, done with Biden? I can't believe you used to be such a big supporter. Well, I may be a Democrat, but I'm not blind. I see what's going on. And President Trump did the right thing, and I should have voted for him. I said, wow, welcome to the Republican Party. I mean,
well, you know, what we're going to find when President Trump comes in for his second non-consecutive term, it's going to end up being better than if he had two terms back to back, because after 4 years of suffering with this senile, corrupt old coot, Biden, who's checked out. I mean, when he makes the announcement tomorrow, he may think he's announcing his re-election campaign as vice president for Obama. He's so checked out, you know. But people have been suffering so much under Biden. President Trump's going to come back with a mandate, and his entire agenda, it's going to be like the biggest and best first 100 days of any president ever. He's going to come back with a massive mandate, and it's going to be beautiful, and we're going to get our country back on track. I mean, look at what's going on here. Biden's announcing he's running for re-election tomorrow, and his campaign manager is Cesar Chavez's granddaughter.
This is what a crew. What a crew, man. If they did anything else that could destroy their campaign, I would say it's impossible.
Well, you know, so this is an interesting thing. I'm glad he picked Cesar Chavez's granddaughter to manage his campaign. I wonder if his sister knows about that, because she's been managing all of his campaigns, but I guess she only handles the financial aspects to make sure that the big guy gets 10% and everybody around the family. But anyway, Cesar Chavez's granddaughter is going to be the campaign manager, which means that he is catering his message to, you know, the wrong people. However, Cesar Chavez, his position on illegal immigration was the same as President Trump's. Cesar Chavez was not only opposed to illegal labor jumping the border, he actually took part in patrolling the southern border, busting illegals, because he was the big guy with the United Farm Workers Union, and he understood that illegal labor from south of the border was competition from his labor members, his union members with the United Farm Workers.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, like I said the other day, I don't think anybody's going to be voting for Biden.
Well, sadly, there will be some people. Hey, listen, Doug, take care. Now, you guys, there was a lot of talk about Hunter on this trip to Ireland. And did you guys see Miranda Devine's column in the New York Post? Oh, my goodness. Listen to this. This is Miranda Devine's column in the New York Post today. Hunter Biden, listen to this. This is crazy. Hunter Biden is believed to be hiding out at the White House while his baby mama goes on a warpath. Lawyers for the former stripper, London Roberts, asked an Arkansas court Friday to jail Hunter Biden for failing to show his financial records as required in her lawsuit over support payments for their 4-year-old daughter, Navy. You know, the daughter that Joe and Jill don't put a stocking up for at Christmas because she's not good enough to be Joe Biden's grandchild, right? Robert claims Hunter is flaunting the dignity and authority of the court by failing to provide one single item or word of discovery, and asked that the court incarcerate Hunter Biden in the local detention center until he complies with court orders. Yeah, guys go to jail for not paying child support. Hunter, he goes to the White House and hides out. The former stripper had to get a court-ordered paternity test to prove Navy was Hunter's child, and last year, Hunter applied to have his monthly support payments reduced. She's also has an expert witness who's a big Biden nemesis, they say, Garrett Ziegler. The 27-year-old former Trump advisor is founder of the nonprofit Marco Polo, which published a 644-page analysis of Hunter's infamous laptop last year, identifying hundreds of his alleged crimes. Ziegler currently is being sued by Hunter's sugar brother, the wealthy Hollywood lawyer Kevin Morris, for harassment of Biden. But anyway, it goes on. So here I want you guys to think about this. Hunter Biden has a child. Joe Biden has a grandchild. And they won't do what a man should do. Take care of the kid. He's hiding out at the White House to avoid an arrest, a subpoena, court papers, or anything else. So what's going on right now, Joe Biden is literally harboring a criminal at the White House. Where's the press on this? Miranda Devine is with the New York Post, and hopefully she'll be on Fox this week talking about this. But where's the rest of the media on this? Now we know why he went with Daddy to Ireland. He's hiding out from this. He's staying by Dad's side because the process server cannot get anywhere near Hunter as long as he's with Dad. All right, we're going to take our first break of the second hour. If you're on hold, stand by. We've got a lot more to discuss. We've just scratched the surface. This is one of the biggest news times I've ever experienced, people, and your calls are certainly welcome at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And don't forget, if you miss a part of the Steve Kane Show, you can catch the entire show at our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com. About an hour after we go off the air each day, the entire show is uploaded and archived forever at trueoldiesfla.com. All right, let's take our break. We'll be back right after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
As you're getting older, doesn't mean that this is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor. Dr. Richard Tez at the Bio Station West LA. Oh boy. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll be younger, you'll have more energy, sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Loose ones gone. Night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Tez, but when I first meet them, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet them again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy. Oh boy, guys, I tell you. Can you imagine? You got Hunter hiding out from the process server at the White House.
There are first responders and the men and women in our armed forces. They preserve our way of life on a daily basis. So let's do all we can for them. That message courtesy of all but the church, the Medicare supplement specialist for 38 years. Call 954-970-4760 or visit them online at allthegroup.com.
Oh, man. Week's starting off good.
Call today 954-922-954-922. That's 954-922-4633. BrightonDentalCare.com. From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. We're advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. We're championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I want to talk about Tom Laporta and Laporta Contracting. You know, man, you would think hurricane season was already here. It's not, but it's been raining. It was raining this morning when I was driving to the radio station. If you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, and you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. You know, Tom Laporta and Laporta Contracting serve both the east and west coast of Florida and has an office on each of the coasts, has an office on the east coast of Florida and an office on the west coast of Florida. And they don't just serve the coastal regions, they serve both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. And Tom Laporta and Laporta Contracting can work on any type of structure, single family home, apartment buildings, HOAs, HOA communities, municipal buildings, commercial property, and he also works with every type of roofing material there is. Now, listen, if you have, a problem with your roof, you want to call your insurance company too. But now we have new laws in Florida that allow Tom Laporta to deal directly with your insurance company. You very well may not need a public adjuster to get a settlement. Sometimes, your insurance company don't want to give you what you're owed. And I've done this. I've hired a public adjuster. And the public adjuster got me the settlement from the insurance company. It took about a year. Can you imagine? It took about a year. Yeah, I know. I had a year with a blue tarp over it was awful. And then I had to pay that public adjuster 20% of that settlement. So I had to come up with the other 20% for the roof cost out of my own pocket. Tom Laporta now being able to deal directly with your insurance company, well, you very well may be able to bypass that public adjuster and will not have to come up with that 20%. You can find him online at LaportaContracting.com or give him a call directly. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the radio. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, boy. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Harvey in Daytona.
Hey, Harvey. What's up?
All right. I listened to you again a few times. I lost you for about 10 years, but you're on the same wavelength. You've never been right with what you're talking about ever.
Oh, okay. Well, wait a second. How do you know? If you've not listened to me in 10 years, how can you say with any credibility that I've not been correct? because you say you haven't listened for 10 years.
Well, I can listen to you for one day and you the same routine.
This guy's got his own bleeps. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, did you support Ron DeSantis or what?
Like President Trump, I supported him until I knew what he was all about. Now we all know. Trump doesn't even support him anymore.
Right, okay. Did you support George W. Bush?
I did support George W. Bush.
You never been right yet.
Really? You skipped over President Trump. Now, you started to say something, even though you haven't listened for 10 years. Think about this. This guy's going back in time 20 years to point out where I was incorrect 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, 19, because we're talking, he's going back to 2004, and, hey, yeah, I didn't know that he was a lying war criminal about WMDs, but you started to say something. You started to say that I say Republicans are good and Democrats are bad, something like that. Finish that thought.
Right. Well, mostly that's you. And it was Rush Limbaugh was the same thing.
Oh, yes.
Except they pay them $20 million to lie to the American idiots, and they don't pay you that much. How much do you get from the Trump phony?
How much do I get from the what?
The Trump phony con man. How much do you get from him?
I don't know who that is. This phony con man you're talking about. I don't know who that is.
He's like a carnival barker. He's like P.T. Barnum.
Who are? Excuse me. Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about your friend, Trump.
Well, there must be another Trump, because you say carnival barker, you say con man. I don't know. Can you tell me the first name of the person?
I think his name is Donald John Trump. Trump.
Well, there must listen. There must be another Donald John Trump, because the one I know is not a carnival barker. The one I know is not a con man or a P.T. Barnum. The one I know was the 45th president of the United States. He'll be the 47th president, and he did a very incredible job. He did a beautiful job. So I don't know. This Donald Trump you're talking about sounds like a whole different person.
He did a beautiful job, huh? I know you don't believe a word you say. You're just saying it for some reason.
Well, tell me what President Trump doesn't pay me anything to answer your question. Now I want you to answer my question. Tell me something that Donald Trump did as president that was not a good thing.
Well, he's going to be going to prison.
No, not what he's going to be. The question was that you're answering another question that I didn't ask. The question I asked you was, tell me something that Donald Trump did as president that was not a great thing.
He instigated a mob to try to overthrow.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. He instigated a mob. This is interesting, because Liz Cheney and others had a very, very big committee that investigated this for a year, and they determined that Donald Trump did not instigate violence on January 6th. So so you're mistaken on that, according to the Democrats, okay, who cleared him of that. What is something he did that was a failure, something he did that was wrong? He was cleared on that by the Democrats and Liz Cheney.
He was a failure. Did he make any type of agreement with the leader of North Korea? No, he didn't do anything. He went there and
no, excuse me. That last part I got to mute out. I don't know why you would be talking about a man's private parts in such a way. I don't know what team you're playing for. Is this Leah Thomas's grandfather? I don't. Actually, when he went and met prior to, and when he met and after he met with Kim Jong-un, he got Kim Jong-un to stop launching rockets and missiles. Yet he seems to have started doing that again since Trump left office. Maybe you misunderstood the question. I didn't ask you to give examples of successes of Donald Trump. I could do that myself. There's so many. You don't like the guy. I asked you to give me examples of failures of Donald Trump as president. Maybe you didn't understand the question.
have to know when you're being played for a sucker.
So as president, what did Donald Trump fail at doing?
He's been going around mooching money ever since the day he was elected president.
Excuse me. What did Donald Trump do? Are you telling me that as a big Trump hater like yourself, you can't think of one failure that President Trump had as president? That's amazing.
Well, he never built the secure wall, never did anything.
He never did it. He never did anything. Oh, no, excuse me. He nearly completed it. The wall just had a few short miles left of it. And Mexico did pay for it.
He didn't complete anything. And it's
excuse me. The wall was only a few short miles from being completed and was held up by Paul Ryan and Pelosi and others, but it was just a few short miles from total completion. And Mexico paid for it.
His big supporter, Steve Bannon, used it as a con.
No, we're not talking about Steve Bannon. We're talking about Trump. So has it occurred to you that you cannot think of a failure of Donald Trump as president? You hate the guy and you can't think of a failure of his.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, let's.
Oh, no.
Who did he nominated somebody? He had somebody in his cabinet. A guy.
He had somebody, a guy in the cabinet who made it. And we're not talking about other people. We're talking about him. Well, listen, you're very lucky. We're up against our bottom of the hour break. Oh, my goodness. He hasn't listened in 10 years, but I've been wrong about everything. In the 10 years, he hasn't been listening, he says. Maybe the guy's a liar. Maybe he listens every day. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig, back after this.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Huh? Yeah. It's funny.
Probably why he stopped listening.
Exactly. Well, all the haters they always begin by telling you they don't listen, they haven't listened, that's like their big thing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This next thing I want to play is insane. No, people, that's when this is a big thing with liberals, you know. They always begin by, like, even when I'm out in public, like I'll be out at Walmart or Publix, you know, or I'll meet a liberal out and about, and they'll come up to me and they're like, "Oh, Brian, I haven't listened to you in years." Yeah, it always begins with that. They want to try to make you feel bad. I don't listen to you anymore. Oh, you're still around. You know, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Oh my goodness, guys. Well, thank you, Beverly. You know, I started watching a movie last night. I was watching it before the Trump interview, and I stopped it because Trump was coming on Levin. And I've heard people say this is like such a great movie, and I started watching it, and it was Terminal Rollerball with James Caan. I'm going to finish watching it. But what a boring movie. That's right. Steven Seagal has a new series. I know. I mean, it was like ridiculous. It's an awful movie, but I'm going to finish watching it so I can have a fair view of it. I think Rollerball was only a hit because that had to be after Godfather, right? Was James Caan on a Godfather, stardom streak at that point? It had to be after Godfather. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's raining. It's raining right now. My goodness.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right. Yes. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. It is really raining outside. If you're on the way to work, I don't know how far the rains are going, but it's raining here in Palm Beach Gardens. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. All right. Now, we had this transgender shooter in Nashville. They still have not released the manifesto. That story has been disappeared from the news. There was a second trans shooter in Colorado who was stopped before they did what they were planning. And then this guy in Kentucky a while back, he was another liberal. So the liberals are, they're very triggered, literally, sadly, and it's got awful. I was on the Twitter this morning and came across on Twitter this group of transgender ladies who are biological men. And they're talking about white people and racism. And this first person you're going to hear from is an African-American transgendered woman who was born a man, talking about white people. Listen to this. Crazy stuff.
All white people are racist, period, point blank, end of...
Wow. All white people are racist. Period, point blank. Wow, that's something, huh?
All white people are racist, period, point blank, end of story. You cannot be white and not racist. It's not possible, because if you are born in this country, in this America, I'm all white Americans. I don't live in Australia. They racist too. If you are white and you're raised in America, you are raised through TV, through books, through every single thing to have racial bias toward white people and against people of color. White folks do not have to open up their history books and see their people being hanged. In my history books in school, I think it's hung. Hang. It's hang. Okay. It's hang. Hung is...
Yeah, okay. I had to cut it there because they were talking about hang and hung, and they were talking about what hung means. So I had to, I know that's not appropriate, but so I had to cut it off there. All white people are racist. And, what's scary about that, and this may get a lot of circulation on, maybe make it to TV today because it was a video thing and pretty good quality video. So it might make it to television. What this person is talking about, this very racist person, black transgender racist person is saying is really what critical race theory is. Critical race theory, well, it says that all people, not only who are white, are racist, but that they're born racist, that little babies, as soon as now, of course, they can't be racist in the womb because that's not a life according to these people. But the moment a white child leaves the womb, it is a racist. It is genetic. To have such a thought about a group of people, that's racist, okay? But that's what critical race theory teaches, and it's a pretty scary, scary thing. So Sunny Hostin on The View was talking about gun violence. This is really sad. Sunny Hostin, The View is a poisoned program. It just is. It is a poisoned program. The View has a main panel of a few people: Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and then they have a rotating cast. Do you know what Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar have in common, other than that they're two ladies on The View and they're jerks and stuff? Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, both of them have a blackface controversy in their background. And Meghan McCain gave an interview recently, and she said that when she was on The View, she was forbidden to talk about any instance of anyone who was involved in a blackface issue. Remember the governor of Virginia had that blackface issue that came up? She said she was not allowed to talk about it because they were afraid it would point to Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg's blackface incidents. And the one with Joy Behar is more well known these days. Joy Behar went to a Halloween party in complete blackface, dressed as a black woman. That's right. Whoopi Goldberg, this one goes back, but she's got a blackface issue too. Whoopi Goldberg used to date Ted Danson when Ted Danson was a big star. Was he on Cheers or was it after Cheers? It was certainly during the 3 Men and a Baby era. So he was like the top A-list Hollywood celebrity, and he was dating Whoopi Goldberg. Can you imagine? My goodness. And remember the Friars Club roast? He went to the roast with Whoopi Goldberg, Ted Danson. She went with him. They got ready at home together. They got dressed together. They got in the limo and went there together, and Ted Danson was in blackface. And it was worse. He even had like a top hat on and a tuxedo. Remember that? Yeah. So they both have, but you know, but others are racist. So Sunny Hostin, who's sitting on this show every day with two people with hardcore blackface issues in their past, she's talking about gun control and she injects race into it. Listen.
Honestly think, certainly we know that America is the only country in the world that has more guns than people. And those guns are owned by about 30% of the population, 3% of the population, and largely they're men, and they're largely white men. And I think what you are seeing happening.
Don't you love how she says that? Because, and they're white men. Like, what does that mean? Do white men not have rights? Because they're white? Like that transgender wackadoodle, Sunny Hostin believes whatever a white man does is wrong, it's bad, and and they should not be allowed to do such things. They're her tone. But anyway, let me get back to it.
Honestly think, certainly we know that America is the only country in the world that has more guns than people. And those guns are owned by about 30% of the population, 3% of the population, and largely they're men, and they're largely white men. And I think what you are seeing happening is that people are being radicalized by Fox News, they're being radicalized by other right-wing media, and they're being taught to fear people that don't look like them.
Okay. What is she talking about? What is she talking about? We just had this tragedy in Nashville at the Christian school, 6 killed. 5 of them, I think, were white, at least 4, maybe 5. There was the janitor, I think, was black. 3 of them children. So the majority of those killed in the Nashville shooting were white, killed by a transgender person. In Nashville, at the bank shooting, I don't know what the racial makeup was there, but I do know this. The shooter at the bank in Kentucky was also a liberal, a Trump-hating liberal. So what is she talking about? Nicholas Cruz in Parkland. Well, Cruz, that's Hispanic. I'm not saying there have not been white mass shooters. Obviously, they have. And I'm at a failure for the one that was racial. Now, the guy who shot up the church a number of years ago is probably who she's referencing, and she's skipping over everything else in between because it doesn't fit her narrative. But the church was not his target. He wanted to shoot up the school. He went to a local college, and he was going to shoot up the college. And when he got to the college, they had armed campus police. So he went to a place where there were no guns, the church. Mateen here in Florida, the Pulse nightclub. He was Muslim. So, her world, she lives in a racist world. And she does not even understand that she herself is a hardcore racist. That, you know, and it's really a sad thing, Sunny Hostin, because Sunny Hostin, here she is. She's an attorney. Prior to even being on The View, she had great success in the legal field, and she's on a lot of ID specials. So she was working for the network and giving legal commentary and analysis. She's now on The View, which is one of the easiest jobs in television, making a lot of money. I'm sure she's a millionaire. And when you're dealing with a show that has two women on it, Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin, who are African American women who are millionaires each, and when they think that they are in a racist country where blacks can't make it, when you got two female millionaires sitting there, if they can't be convinced, boy, how are you going to convince a regular working person? Right? I mean, it's insane. Their minds are so far gone, and it's scary that their minds are so far gone. You know, the way Sunny Hostin is talking there, the races are reversed, but it reminds me of that scene in American History X with Elliot Gould and Beverly D'Angelo, and they're at the dinner table with Ed Norton. You guys remember that scene in the movie? And it was some of the most terrible racist things I've ever heard from Ed Norton. And then Elliot Gould leaves, and he's talking to Beverly D'Angelo, and she says, "I'm so sorry for you. He's gone. He's gone." Sunny Hostin is gone. And Whoopi Goldberg, who Sunny sits there with, it's a racist country, right? Whoopi Goldberg has an Oscar, an Emmy, a Grammy, a Tony Award, and she's a millionaire. But this is a racist country where blacks can't make it. Furthermore, if this country were the country that they tell you that it is, The View and these trans people I played, would they be able to be on national television on a network talking this way? Of course not. And when I see this kind of talk, whether it's the transgender person or Sunny Hostin on The View, I don't get angry. I feel sorry for them. I really do. I feel sorry for them, also for our country, but in particular them, because that's the reality. And nothing's going to convince them anything else is reality. And isn't that sad? It really, truly is. And it's also destructive and can incite things like the Waukesha Christmas parade killer. You know, Rittenhouse was acquitted. It was a self-defense case. But everyone that he shot in self-defense were white. But they still make that a racial thing, right? Sunny Hostin, she lives in an alternative reality. It's not the reality that the rest of us live in. It's another plane of existence. All right. We're going to take our last break of the second hour. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this break.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show. Doorbell camera. You get a doorbell camera. You get a doorbell camera. And
Oh, I was going to do that commercial.
for everyone but the first 40 true oldies channel listeners, call 833-283-5050. Will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman shield. Home right from the palm of your hand.
Yeah, it's raining pretty bad outside, actually. Very surprised.
Their low-cost monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen and a motion detector, three-arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to dial 833-283, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman shield. So call Sloman's now for this limited time offer. 833-283-5050. Brian Craig here. Are you looking for a reliable scooter sales and repair shop? Look no further than Anything Scooters. When my scooter broke down, Anything Scooters took care of everything for me. They had me back out on the road
no time, at a great price too. They have a huge inventory of scooters for sale,
Mm-hmm.
both new and used. They offer financing. They
Mm-hmm.
also accept trade-ins on all new and used scooter purchases. So don't let that old scooter you have just in the garage. Trade it in and get a great deal on a new ride. If you're looking to upgrade your scooter's performance, they've got you covered. Their expert technicians can handle anything from simple oil changes to engine rebuilds, even high-performance modifications. At 83 Scooters,
Oh boy.
quality oils and replacement parts to ensure that your scooter runs like it should. They're very friendly and they have great customer service. Visit anythingscooters.com or give them a call directly. 954-226-8710. 954-226-8710. 954-226-8710. Online, anythingscooters.com. Experience awe-inspiring landscapes and traverse the great Canadian Rocky Mountains on the Rocky Mountaineer Train with bi-level glass dome coaches, August 15th through the 20th. The only passenger rail service that runs on the historic railroad connecting Canada from east to west. Are you ready to embark on this unforgettable journey? Head to BrianTrain.com and request a brochure. Book your spot now and make memories that will last a lifetime. That's BrianTrain.com and request your brochure.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve King Show is on the air.
All right. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right. You know, my daughter is in town visiting us, spent 2 weeks with us. She's still here for this week. Came home from California for my birthday. And we got a new bed in the guest bed. And we got the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 for my daughter since she was staying here so long. And the first night she was here, she slept on the bed without the 3-inch mattress topper 2.0. She said that first night was like the worst night's sleep she's ever had. She said the mattress is awful. She said it was like sleeping on a slab of concrete. And then since the first night, she's been sleeping on the bed with the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0, and she said it's like sleeping on a cloud. Yeah, that's right. And she was like, why do you get a bed that's for guests that's so uncomfortable? Well, you don't want. Well, probably depending on who stays with us, they'll either get or will not get the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. If we don't want them to stay too long, the mattress, they'll be on the slab of concrete. If we want them to stay like you, we'll give them the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. But she wants one for her house out in California. She really was just raving about how great it is. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, it's the 2.0 version, is an upgrade on the original mattress topper from Mike Lindell. It has the cooling technology like the pillow, so it also perfectly regulates your body temperature. It's a big upgrade on the previous MyPillow mattress topper. It's 40% off, and you get free shipping when you use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. It comes in every mattress size. And Mother's Day is right around the corner. It makes a great gift for Mother's Day. You can also take advantage of all the other specials at mypillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, not just the ones that I share with you. You can order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, KANE. All right. There is a major attack going on right now against Tucker Carlson. The first, and they're doing it at the same time. It's a coordinated effort by the fake news media. And I know you've seen the clip of AOC, which I'm going to play, going after Tucker. But then Ray Epps was on 60 Minutes last night. Ray Epps was on 60 Minutes. He's lost a lot of weight and grew a beard. And I watched it, and he was talking about Tucker too. But the only clip I'm going to play you of Ray Epps, because it was very uneventful, is the clip of him talking about Tucker. But I just want to tell you guys, okay? Tucker Carlson, he's been getting a lot of criticism from people because he didn't air the rest of the January 6th footage. Now, we don't know exactly what went on behind the scenes Kevin McCarthy gave him the January 6th footage. He had one night of it, and it was going to be an entire week, he told us, and the rest didn't happen. It was stopped by who? We don't really know who stopped it. But I think he did all right, because he got the Viking, the shaman, released from prison. He's out of prison just from that first night. And he doesn't own Fox News. He's an employee, so he just can't hijack the network and air something. And he did a great interview with President Trump. But getting the Viking, the shaman, out of prison, that was amazing that he did. And they're after him. They're after Tucker. So let me first play AOC in her interview about Tucker Carlson, which is really frightening. Listen to this. This is AOC.
And do you think media organizations or social media platforms should be accountable for the role for being platform?
Oh, I forgot to share. This is an interview that she did with Jen Psaki on NBC.
And do you think media organizations or social media platforms should be accountable for the role for being platforms for incitement?
I believe that when it comes to broadcast television, like Fox News, these are subject to federal law, federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air and what isn't. And when you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very, very clearly incitement of violence. Very clearly incitement of violence. And that is the line that I think we have to be willing to contend with.
Well, I'd be curious for AOC to share with Jen Psaki, who's obviously, Jen Psaki, guilty of one of the highest crimes a liberal can commit, cultural misappropriation, right? Her last name. She's named herself after Japanese whiskey, right? And her first name's Jen Psaki. It sounds like a stripper, right? Jen Psaki, two different types of alcohol. Remember Rip Torn? His first and last name, both different types, same word, mean the same thing. But anyway, what violence did Tucker Carlson ever incite? What is she talking about? Do you have a specific example and some clips from his show? I'd be very curious, AOC. But, here's the thing with the liberals. Liberals now, this new wave of liberal that AOC is, this millennial liberal, believe verbal disagreement or just thinking an opinion that is different than theirs on any issue, that in itself is violent. Disagreement, disagreeing thought that you don't even vocalize is violence to these people. And this is why the Democrats are in big, big trouble. I've been talking late last week and on my podcast and stuff about Robert Kennedy Jr. Robert Kennedy Jr., I think, is most likely right now. Now, a lot can happen. But as of now, I think he's the front runner for the Democrat nomination ahead of Biden. Have you seen him over the weekend and his videos that he's released? And what's going to happen here with the Democrats, they're in big trouble. They've got these wackadoodle people like these trans activists, Cesar Chavez's granddaughter here running the campaign for Biden. They got AOC and just a list of radical lunatics. And Bobby Kennedy comes along. Rhino, he calls Robert Kennedy. I'm going to call him Bobby Kennedy most of the time. He should go by Bobby Kennedy. But anyway, Robert Kennedy Jr. comes along, and I'm not supporting him. Please do not misunderstand me. He's still a Democrat, and I don't support any of that nonsense. But he sounds like a Reagan conservative compared to what we've been getting from these radical Democrats. And as he goes out there, there's a lot of Democrats. There's been a silent majority inside the Democrat Party that have been afraid to vocalize their opinions on this trans stuff, the border, and these other things, because these radical lunatics will descend on them like the body snatchers in Invasion of the Body Snatchers and point at them, And Bobby Kennedy is like a reasonable Democrat. He's an old-time, he's literally a Kennedy Democrat, but he sounds very reasonable compared to this. Well, he's already in the double digits in the latest polls. Low double digits, but still double digits. He's polling a lot better than these people going up against our great president, Donald Trump, right? And he hasn't even really begun yet. They're going after him. His wife, they're canceling her acting jobs, and she's a very big actress in Hollywood because of this. But there's going to be a major divide between the and the Democrat Party, between these lunatics with AOC and the Bobby Kennedy Democrats, and it's going to be beautiful because the Democrat Party no longer stands together in unity. They're at each other's throats, and that's a good thing. It'll cost them the election. But I would say that Tucker Carlson, going after Tucker Carlson and all of these things, they'll start going after themselves. And Bobby Kennedy, now again, like I say, anything can happen, anything can change. But right now, I think he's the favorite for the Democrat nomination. So we had AOC wanting to outlaw Tucker Carlson. So then 60 Minutes sits down with Ray Epps last night. Listen to this. This is Ray Epps.
Do you think media?
Oh, no, that's AOC. Let me pull up the other clip. Hold on. Here it is. Okay. This is Ray Epps.
Ray Epps was never seen committing an act of violence that day or entering the Capitol. Epps told us when he saw the violence, his fervor to enter the building became a desire to play peacemaker. And police body cam video backs him up. I thought I could stop it. So I went back and forth. I talked people.
Talk about revisionist history. Now, all that footage we've seen of Ray Epps over the last couple of years, don't believe your lying eyes. Now he was trying to stop everything. Well, I thought he was like, telling people where to go and to charge. But anyway, he was now trying to stop it all. Yeah, we're watching history be rewritten right before our eyes.
I thought I could stop it. So I went back and forth. I talked people down and worked the line back and forth. Step down, we're good here, that kind of thing. And I kept it that way for quite some time. Epps says he left the Capitol grounds to help evacuate an injured man. The time, 2:54 p.m. I looked back at the Capitol, and there was people crawling up the Capitol walls, and it looked terrible. I mean, I was kind of ashamed of what was going on at that point.
Now, keep in mind, he'd been telling people to go towards the Capitol. We've seen the video.
So I started to walk out. He told us that's when he sent this text to his nephew. Conspiracists saw it as the true confession of an agent provocateur. I was in front with a few others. I also orchestrated it. Explain this to me.
So this text message is a confession of his. So now he's going to put it in context, right? Even though he's doing a victory lap in the text message.
Conspiracists saw it as the true confession of an agent provocateur. I was in front with a few others. I also orchestrated it. Explain this to me. I was boasting to my nephew. I helped get people there. I was directing people to the Capitol that morning. You know how this sounds. I know exactly how it sounds. I've been scolded by my wife for using that word. I shouldn't have used that word. When you add up all of these things, as your critics have done, you've given them a lot of ammunition to paint you as this instigator. There was an effort to make me the scapegoat.
Okay. Yeah, and then he goes on. I'm not going to play this part where he goes after Tucker. Come on. Give me a break. That's 60 Minutes last night. Because, the problem is they can't control the flow of information any longer because there's so many media outlets. So people know exactly what happened everywhere, all the time, and the left have lost control of the narrative. They'll never gain it back. So they're trying to regain the narrative. Tucker's dangerous. Fox is dangerous. Ray Epps was actually trying to stop the Capitol breach. That's right. I mean, these people are out of their minds. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. When we come back, there's much more. You're welcome to call in about any and everything we've brought up on the program so far this morning. I have some other issues I'm going to touch on. I'm going to recap on a couple, but your calls are welcome at 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach. WI.
back a wild animal, they're going to become dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it is really raining outside. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Yep, Steve Kane Show. No, unfortunately, no. I don't. I'm sorry. Steve Kane Show. No, hold on. No, somebody kept calling and hanging up, and they wanted something. Well, the only hope Biden has is Robert Kennedy's voice. He sounds like Katharine Hepburn, but the last couple of times I've heard him, they seem to have done some work to make him sound better. I don't know if he can do that live.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
All right. Yes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. The third and final hour has begun. It is still raining outside. Oh, my goodness. Drive safe, guys. Welcome back. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. You know, there's so many stories in the news these days, and there's one that's just a constant story after story every day, and I hate doing them. They're the transgender stories. I don't like talking about the transgender stuff at all. And it seems so ridiculous to me that eventually it'll just go away on its own, but it doesn't seem to be. And, you know, I was talking about those shootings earlier with the transgender shooter and such because of Sonny Austin, but there's a new video circulating in the news. Have you seen this? About the transgender person, biological male, talking about what they will do if someone tries to stop them from using the ladies' room. Listen, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play some of this. This is a transgender woman, born a man, goes by Tara, who says they identify as a lesbian. Listen to this.
You back a wild animal into a corner, they're going to become a dangerous animal. So if you want to die on that hill of yours of righteousness and moral majority, then you go right ahead. I dare you to try and stop me from going into a women's bathroom. It will be the last mistake you ever make. I dare you to try and stop a transgender woman in my presence from using the bathroom. It will be the last mistake you ever make. This is a call to arms to everybody within the United States that are scared, worried, have children that are transgender, lesbian, bi, or gay. This is a call to action. You need to arm up. Plain and simple. Go out, buy a gun.
Wow. Okay. This is crazed. This is crazed. So, yeah, and this person goes on a little bit, but I'm not going to play the rest of it for all kinds of reasons. But here we just had this transgender mass shooter in Nashville, Tennessee. Story completely disappeared. Now we have this transgender person who's telling trans people to go out and get guns to protect their bathroom rights to use the ladies' room. And you know what you've got with I mean, this is obviously someone who's talking about violent things here. You know what's going. I know this is terrible. I hate talking about this stuff with the trans community. You've got men who have gone through these transitions. They're living as women. They're on all kinds of weird medications and hormones, and it's obviously affecting them mentally, and they're losing touch with reality. You know, I spent the weekend with my daughter. We were out and about doing stuff all over Florida, actually, over the weekend. And we were somewhere, and there was a couple. It was where we were at, and it was a transgender woman born with a man with their boyfriend who was not transgender, who was, you know, a man. And it was a little strange. I don't know if the man is gay or straight or thinks he's straight. I don't know what the situation is. And this person was and they weren't that old either. They were like, you know, 30-ish. You know, and there was no doubt that this was a transgender woman, you know, the size 11 foot, you know, and other things, Adam's apple and everything, but dressed full, I think, with the women and everything. You know, no one cares. No one cares because, I mean, I notice a lot of these weird things because I talk about them on the air. So so I notice things that that I'll see out so I can talk about it. But what I was watching, this transgender couple that I saw over the weekend with my daughter, this transgender woman, there was no mistaking this was like a biological man. Person was huge. They look like they were as big as a football player, maybe not NFL, but as a college player. Big guy. And no one even looks. No one cares. Okay? And there's a lot of people want to feel like victims. A lot of people, their whole identity is being a victim, that people don't like them. And so, and you see this a lot with liberals, like Sonny Hostin on The View. I was talking. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to the calls in a bit here. But in liberal circles, in particular liberal minorities, they want to feel victimized all the time. And that's just the way it is, even though these things aren't happening. Not from their perspective. I mean, that school in Nashville, they're hiding the manifesto from the transgender shooter. Obviously, that was a transgender person who went after that school, killed 3 children and 3 adults. The children were 9 years old, all 3 of them, over some hatred they had towards Christians. And they're suppressing the manifesto as long as they can so that when it comes out, it'll seem just kind of like matter of fact and not that big of a deal. But that was targeted. And when it does come out, the left will tell you, well, that, it's almost justifiable homicide because, well, they disagree with this person. They made this person feel uncomfortable. Or so I don't know how 3 9-year-old children even know what a transgender person is and could make an adult feel uncomfortable that way, but that's how they'll portray it. And then this person here talking about taking guns to the ladies' room and daring people to stop them from using the ladies' room. This is insane, people. And this is, we're in a place in this society that is really a turning point. It really, truly is. And this is what I was talking about in the Democrat Party. That Robert Kennedy totally is going to just destroy the Democrats, which is what we want. It'll make it easier for Trump. Not that he needs their help because he's very popular. Double-digit lead against DeSantis in the latest poll. When has he not had a double-digit lead against DeSantis? But, this trans person here, how do you think they're going to take to Robert Kennedy? Not very well. And they're going to be very vocal about it. So this is a great, great time. All right, now, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take our first break of the hour. When we come back, I'll get to some calls, and there's also some other things to talk about. It's a very busy news weekend this weekend. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE-1. This is the Steve King Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera. You get a doorbell camera. And you get a doorbell camera. We should have it for everyone. For the channel listeners, call 1-888-350-50 doorbell camera. And connects directly to your cell phone for the installation of your smart your home right from the top. That's not all. Smallest is going to be customized home security system. Professional installation with reasonable cost is primary. LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, one of the first dial 1-888-283-5050 doorbell camera with the installation of your smart system. So call Slovis now for this limited time offer at 1-888-283-5050. That's 1-888-283-5050.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Have you been told that you have bone on bone or need a knee replacement? Have you been told that you have osteoarthritis? Well, then come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions that include rehab and injections that can prevent you from having to have surgery or prolong the surgery. We've been in practice for 75 years in South Florida. You don't have to live with pain any longer. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
Have you been to Chowderheads in Jupiter yet? If you're looking for the best seafood in town, you have to try Chowderheads. You'll love their authentic New England seafood, brought in fresh from Boston.
To be at the airport.
Chowder and fried oysters are absolutely delicious. Come taste it for yourself. You will want to keep coming back for more at Chowderheads, located in the Driftwood Plaza on Southwest Highway 1 in Jupiter. Now open 7 days a week. For reservations or to go, call 561-203-2903 or check out their menu at chowderheadsusa.com.
You tired of struggling to obtain the body you want? No matter how much you diet and exercise, nothing seems to work. But there's an easy solution.
This last commercial, we'll be right back.
This treatment is FDA cleared for 9 areas of the body. You're just a phone call away from having the body you always dreamed of. Call 561-717-8081. 561-717-8081. Online, elegantleesmocha.com. Say goodbye to that stubborn fat and hello to the body you always wanted. 561-717-8081.
Now back to the Steve King Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. I want to talk about our real estate agent, Elena Castro, who was introduced to us by Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting. You know, we're in a buyer's market here. And if you're looking to sell your home or upgrade or even downsize, I mean, this is the time, right? Houses in South Florida are selling for like lottery winning prices. I mean, the real estate prices are through the roof, and this is when you want to sell. This is a buyer's market, and Elena Castro covers the entire South Florida area from Miami through Broward, Palm Beach, and the Treasure Coast. And the key to really getting that the price you want is to get multiple offers. And Elena Castro has a way to get you those multiple offers. Give her a call. This number is her direct number, 954-478-5015. 954-478-5015. That's 954-478-5015. All right, let's take some calls. 1-888-GO-CANE. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Helen from Kansas.
Oh, hey, Helen.
Hi. How you guys doing?
Yeah, okay. How are you?
Well, good. I hope you do better since you're kind of Anyhow, this Ray F situation, you know, they keep trying to tell us not to believe what we see with our own eyes.
Don't believe your lying eyes is the phrase.
It's just unbelievable. And just like millions of us saw on election night.
Mm. You know, I'm going to move on to some other things, Helen. I probably shouldn't. I don't really like Helen's call. I really don't. I mean, I don't think that's news to people. I'm really not interested in Helen's call. And you know why? Okay. I'll tell you why I'm not interested in Helen's calls. Okay. And I don't like her calls. She never calls in about what we're talking. We have open phones on Friday and I give her some leeway, but during the week, she'll try to call in other days. A lot of times I just leave her sitting there for hours. And she calls on multiple phones with multiple numbers and different things like this, you know, and she'll say something in the beginning that has to do with what we're talking about. And then she'll go into her own agenda. And I'm sorry, I don't really like her calls. And I think she's a little holier than thou. And I don't think, as she calls in with the daily Bible verses, and I've talked about this, she puts me in a situation because, you know, I don't want to cut off Bible verses, but she brings them up in very stealthy ways. Okay. And I don't really think that's the Christian way, Helen. I'm sorry. And the reason when she asked how I am doing, I say, it's because I was talking to Helen. So, you know, and I've talked to Helen about this on the air like I'm doing now, and she continues to do what it is she does, which is not very Christian of her because she goes about it in a dishonest way. I do give her the pass on open phones on Fridays, but the rest of the week, you know, it's just I'm sorry. I mean, you know, hey, what am I going to do? You know, this is what happens when you go screenless. Now, did you guys see the interaction at the Palm Beach International Airport between Kari Lake and Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski? This was unbelievable. Now, Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough, they live in Florida. They live not too far from Don Jr. and Jupiter. And the way they do their show, they imply they're in D.C., and they have these backdrops behind them that show Washington, D.C., but they're here in Palm Beach County, you know. And Kari Lake, who is often at Mar-a-Lago, ran into them at the Palm Beach International Airport, and she went up to them. I got a clip of her talking about it. And there's a photograph of it that I don't know who took this photo, but somebody nearby took the photo. And when you see Kari Lake talking to Joe Scarborough, and Mika's just kind of standing there, And Mika Brzezinski was secretly recording Kari Lake. Did you guys see this video? And it's unbelievable. So Kari Lake talked about this after, and let me play this, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But this is Kari Lake talking about the run-in at the Palm Beach airport with Mika and Joe.
Yeah, I happened to be at the airport, Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, and I was leaving and I happened to see Joe Scarborough. So I turned around and got on the escalator down, and he was getting into the restroom, and I said, "Hey, Joe," and he was nice. He said, "Hey," I said, "I just wanted to introduce myself because you guys spend an awful lot of time bad-mouthing me on your show. And I just wanted to, put the human being behind the face that you guys kind of go after." And Mika was not very pleasant. She started recording me unbeknownst to me, which is fine. And when I called her out and said, "Are you recording this?" She said yes. And Joe said, "Don't do that." Like, he was a little bit perturbed that she was recording. But I just said, "Look, I'm the human being behind the person you guys like to bash 24/7, and that's okay. But I just wanted to introduce myself."
Okay. So, yeah. And you can see in the photograph, Mika has her iPhone. It's recording. She has the phone down, trying to do it on the down low. And it comes. And obviously what Mika was doing, well, she probably is nervous. Kari Lake's an attractive woman, and Joe Scarborough's talking to her. She probably is very protective of her man, which is not really a good sign for a wife. She shouldn't be so insecure. But Mika Brzezinski was recording Kari Lake because she thought she was going to get something that they could use on the air. And so we know that there's a recording. All we have is a still picture. And by the way, Kari Lake went on to say they had a third person with them who was their handler. They had a lady handler. And when you see the picture, there's 4 people in the picture: Joe Scarborough, Mika. And Mika's part of the big-time establishment. Mika Brzezinski, her father was the national security advisor to President Carter, who brought it, great guy he was, right? They ran hostages and everything. So she's a deep stater and everything. So there's 4 people: Kari Lake, Joe Scarborough, Mika, and then there's a third lady. The third lady is the handler. And after Kari Lake asked about the stealthy phone recording that Mika was doing, that the lady handler got involved and got confrontational with Kari Lake. Now, this is what I would call on people to do. Tweet and tag Mika Brzezinski and call on her to release this video. Now, the video is not much to see because she was trying to hide it. So it's probably just video of the floor or Mika's hand, but she was very close and the audio should be very clear. I think that Mika should release the audio, and we should call on her to do this. Release the audio played on NBC of the conversation with Kari Lake, her husband Joe, and this lady handler. Why did they need a handler? It was like his sister wife he had with him, Morning Joe there. I don't know what that's all about, but I'd love to hear that conversation. And if they challenge Kari Lake's description of what happened, they obviously have a recording of it, since you can see Mika. And Mika even said, yeah, she's recording. Now in Florida, we don't, in a public space, there's not 2-party consent. So you can record people all over the place in Florida. So there's no laws that have been broken or anything. But I very much would like to hear the audio of the conversation with Kari Lake and Joe Scarborough. Wouldn't you? And, MSNBC spent a whole bunch of time going after Kari Lake. And she was very vocal in asking if they would have her on the air over there. And they don't want her there because they can't control her. The only Republicans that they allow on MSNBC are the Michael Steele type Republicans, right? The Republicans that hate Trump and hate Republicans. They don't like MAGA Republicans or a real Republican at all. But that, it's an interesting thing because Kari Lake is probably one of the 3-4 most famous women in America, certainly in the world of politics. And Mika Brzezinski has audio tape of a conversation with Kari Lake talking about issues, being confrontational with her husband, and they're sitting on it. They're not releasing it to the public. I wonder why. The fake news, the last thing they want to do is break some news, but I definitely want to hear that recording. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. We come back, there's much more to talk about. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
Ugh.
From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Today, it's a WTVF 25 first warning weather day as we're expecting the potential for some severe storms this afternoon. Either way, some heavy rains moving through. If we do see anything severe, we could pull up a quick funnel cloud or even some very high wind gusts of up to 60 miles an hour. I'm WTVF 25 first warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture, Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture, voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
In the Palm Beaches, the major expressways now crash free. Earlier incident we had on 95 heading southbound after Atlantic Avenue is now clear, but we're seeing stop and traffic back on the road. Turnpike North heading southbound is pretty slow right now. We're heading towards the West Palm. We're taking I-95 in the West Palm area. We are seeing slowdowns on 195 heading southbound passing town. And we have a multi-vehicle crash on Military Trail at Road. This is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Shoppers, this is your local Sweet Corn farmer letting you know that Florida Sweet Corn is in season. Ask for Fresh from Florida. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com and happy eating from the Florida Department of Agriculture. That's traffic from Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC Sports Card and Memorabilia Show is coming up this Sunday with great vendors, door prizes, free admission, and more. Coming up May 6th, check out the on-track Kentucky Derby Fest with Jumbo Screen, live music from Sip and Fire and the Connected, Derby Hat Contest, barbecue food tent, bars, mint juleps, fun activities, and more. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Ugh.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my lip work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why I do any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs for all of my lab work. These are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed. The lowest on lab work you will find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test nows around. The only two advertising on our radio station. Don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. Any lab test now in Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any lab test now in Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Bramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now in Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen from Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens.
Ugh.
We're so excited to be celebrating 50 years here in South Florida. The Cohen family started their first health food store in 1972, and ever since have been one of the largest locally owned, family-run health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements like vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathics, diet and fitness, and so much more. All your favorite top quality brands. We also have tons of natural foods like gluten-free, paleo, and organic, as well as health and beauty aids, pet foods, and more. Visit Vanessa, Trish, Jensen, Scott, and Bruce. They're here 7
7 days a week for all your family's natural health needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PGA Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmine's Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626.
Somebody messaged me and says, why don't I ask Helen not to call anymore? I have.
Check out our website at nutritionworld.com.
Yeah.
Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World, Palm Beach Gardens.
Oh my goodness. Hmm. There's a troll that is called 84 times during the show today. Can you believe I just looked at the log 84 times? All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I was reading this story during the break about Lauren Boebert. Okay. Lauren Boebert. You know, they hate Lauren Boebert. They really do. And here, let me read the headline, then we'll talk about it. And this is the headline. Is Lauren Boebert in trouble again in Colorado? Grandmother-to-be's Democratic rival has raked in more than $1 million than her. And her new Republican challenger says locals are fed up with her brash and immature antics. Okay, a couple things about this. Lauren Boebert, you know how she got to be in Congress? Remember this? This is when Beto was running for office in Texas. She went to he was speaking on the steps of some building, and he was taking questions, and Lauren Boebert went and filleted him, and that video went viral, and it made her famous, and that's how she ended up in Congress. Pretty amazing story that's been forgotten about the whole time. But is she really in trouble? If Lauren Boebert is in so much trouble, why is the Uniparty raising more than $1 million against her? What do they need all that money for if she's in a danger? If she's so disliked and the people are so fed up with her, shouldn't they just vote against her? What do they got to worry about? And what the money is about is convincing people she's in trouble. And then they throw this jab in there, grandmother-to-be. They do that for two reasons. One, for a member of Congress, Lauren Boebert's good looking, right? I mean, you know, good looking woman. And she's a, member of Congress. You know, most women in Congress look like Dianne Feinstein or Nancy Pelosi. Okay. So there is a certain, attractiveness and sex appeal that Lauren Boebert, does well with. That's the way it is. That's part of politics. Why do you think, people like Bill Clinton did so well? There's a lot of that goes along with it. So they refer to her in every article as a grandmother-to-be for two reasons. One, to try to take away some of the sex appeal that people have towards her. Oh, she's a grandmother. Ew. That's one reason. And They're so desperate. Did the political consultant that's getting all this money come up with that one? And here's the other one, okay? They think, the Uniparty think that the fact that her teenage son impregnated his girlfriend and she has a grandchild on the way is a negative. It's a positive, okay? They pulled this with Sarah Palin because her daughter had a child in high school. Having a child in high school is not a good thing, but it's better than having an abortion in high school. And Lauren Boebert has listen, anyone who's a parent knows there comes a point when you lose control of everything your kids do. You know what I mean? My daughter's 24, and I learned long ago, when I was out with my daughter over the weekend and I saw this mom walking with her daughter who was like 4 years old, somewhere. And I said to my daughter, I said, yeah, I remember those days. You just went wherever I wanted you to go. You didn't question it. And you were just, and now, it's, how it is as kids grow up. So Lauren Boebert has no role in the fact that her teenage son got his girlfriend pregnant. I don't know if it's his girlfriend or a hookup. I think it might be his girlfriend. But she does have a role in making sure that he does the right thing, which is encourage the girl to have the baby and step up to his, responsibilities. That's a positive. And the idea that the Uniparty think that that's a negative against Lauren Boebert, they are on another plane of existence, people. And I think it makes her a stronger candidate. And I don't think she's in any. They told her she was in trouble last time they spent millions against her, and she won. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
On that man, the LGBTQ plus Rainbow Nazi Squadron member, my question is, now that's the second member of the LGBTQIA plus party that has had a call to arms. The FBI.
Well, and where's the left against this incitement? Now, I will say the transgender person where I played the thing where they want trans people to buy guns and carry them to the ladies' room and dare people to stop them from using the ladies' room. They put that on TikTok and they did delete the video when it started going viral. But still, we've had a violent incident happen and they're advocating for more.
But we've had more than one violent incident happen. And my question would then go into, where is the church? One, where's the church on all of these violent transgender incidences? What type of medications were these people on?
Exactly. And I'll tell you this, okay? That video of the transgender person that wants transgender people to take guns to the ladies' room and dare people to stop them from, starting July here in Florida, we're going to have concealed weapons without permits needed, which means anyone who's over the age of 21 and is legally allowed to possess a gun can carry one as long as it's concealed. And I've always been a supporter of that. And I like open carry, not the concealed, but I was, and now what I'm seeing what's going on and when I'm hearing the reactions from people, it's a terrible thing because people don't understand. I had this incident where these guys were trying to rob me from my scooter, a month or so ago. And I put this video up on YouTube talking about it right after it happened. And that video that I put up on YouTube has had over 250,000 views on it. It's just a short, 30-second video. And it's had thousands and thousands of comments. And most every comment is from a conservative telling me, well, you should carry your weapon. Just because you feel threatened doesn't mean you necessarily are threatened. And a lot of people don't know when you're allowed to use your gun or not. You can't use your gun because you think somebody might do something. Your life has to be threatened. And people just are not knowledgeable enough about the laws to really be carrying without at least a course. The concealed weapons permit course, a huge chunk of it, in fact, the majority of it is going through the laws of when you're allowed to unconceal your weapon. And when I hear people like this trans person telling trans people to take guns to the ladies' room and dare people to, what are they going to do? Stand outside with a gun like Butch and Sundance and dare me from going in here and Urinating? What are they? What this is very dangerous we're in right now. Very dangerous time.
See, to me, they just laid another card down, meaning they want guns for them, not for anybody else. Right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden now the left is pro-gun, but all of a sudden, so that's just
And where and before you move, where are these trans people being stopped from using the ladies' room? I haven't heard of a high-profile incident of a run-in between a woman and a trans person. You know, I know some women have stood up against men and said, "Hey, what are you, a peeping Tom?" But I'm talking about like a true transgender woman. When has there been some high-profile incident in this country of them being denied use of the ladies' room? This is imagined victimhood.
well, of course, because that's what the left is. They're just a huge, just bored, self-entitled, self-important,
Yes.
narcissistic group of people. But I just wanted to comment about Helen for a second.
All right.
So she is putting you in a very precarious situation by calling up and doing Bible verses, right? Because what the situation is, then you're going to have to allow people to call up and quote the Quran, or people call up and talk about witchcraft. I mean, it's a Pandora's box. So if she should just do a Bible study podcast.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. Well, you know, listen, we have open phones on Friday. I do give her leeway on Friday, but during the week, it's not open phones for a lot of reasons. Okay. And you just can't turn over the show to people. And what Helen has decided is that she's going to have a segment every day on the show. I have asked her not to call with that. I have been very vocal about it on the air. I've tried to be nice about it. And she's very deceptive. She calls in from multiple numbers and all kinds of other things, you know, to try to get on and everything else. And I don't think she behaves in a Christian way. But I don't think she's aware of it. I think she's very holier than thou. And, you know, and it puts me in a bad position because, listen, I'm Catholic. I'm very religious. I don't talk about it a lot on the air, but I am. And she knows very well because I've said this on the air many times. I don't, you know, she's putting me in a position where, you know, do I hang up on this chronic caller? Am I cutting off Bible? It's what she's doing is just, it's not Christian the way she's behaving, in my opinion.
Well, in my opinion, too, she's putting you in a very precarious situation over the radio. I mean, if you want to do a Bible verse, just do a podcast, but you can't
Yes.
come on national radio.
That's right. That's right. All right, Andre, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the first look at the precious metals for the week. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Great. What do you have for us today?
Gold is, very stable at these new low levels that are not new low levels, but this little pullback that we've been able to enjoy, a buying opportunity. Friday, we saw the markets close at $1,983.90 on gold, which was down $21.40 after trading as low as $1,971 and as high as $2,006. Silver closed out the week down 21 cents at $25.07, finding good stability above $25. Platinum was up $30 on Friday, closing at $11.24, and palladium gained $10 on the week at $15.32. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range from $1,976 on the low to $1,988 on the high. And right now, it's basically unchanged from Friday's close at about $1,983.90. Silver also unchanged at $25.07. Platinum down $29 at $1,095, and palladium down $42 at $1,490. That's pretty much where we are right now, but metals are acting like they're done going down, and we may see a rally here.
Well, that's awesome. You know, I read an article this morning in the financial news. Over the last 6 months, the dollar has lost 7.4% of its value, the U.S. dollar. That's Yeah, I mean, my goodness, that's all right. So call William Youngman. He opens up at 10 a.m. and no matter where you're located around the world, really, he could do business with you. His number is toll free 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, where you can stop right in. Located in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I got to tell you, I'm so excited this offer is back. The Sloman's free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation. I love it. I actually, I have this camera, and there was an incident. I'm not going to get into the details of it. There was an incident, and I went back and reviewed some of the footage. It's pretty nice to be able to do that for the reasons I had to do it. I can't tell you what it's about yet, but maybe I will in the future. Yeah, that's right. Now, you can get a free doorbell camera, but you have to be one of the first 40 listeners to call 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. You'll get a free doorbell camera if you're one of the first 40 listeners to call that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. You'll be able to see your home no matter where you are, right on your phone in the palm of your hands. They're also going to give you a little bit more than that, actually a lot more than that. You're going to get a customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 listeners to call 1-833-283-5050, you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call them right now, 1-833-283-5050, 1-833-283-5050. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Berta from East Texas.
Hey, Berta.
I'm calling because you really hit a nerve with the Democrats from The View. Now, just to show you how hypocritical they are, Sunny Huston graduated from Harvard. Her son goes to Harvard. She lives in a gated community in a huge mansion, and she plays victim. That's how hypocritical she is.
Well, this is what I was talking about with that. When you have, where she went, Harvard? Okay. Harvard, Joy Reid went to either Harvard or Yale, I forget. When you have that Harvard degree, that is the golden ticket, like Charlie Bucket, right? And
credit that they get, the black, the
affirmative action. I don't know if she got it through affirmative action or not, but she still has it. And so when you have someone who has a Harvard law degree, lives in a mansion, their children go to Harvard, they're multi-millionaires. When someone like that feels that black people can't make it in this society, that you in Texas or me here in Florida, we've got one, how are you going to convince a regular everyday working guy? I mean, that's her mom. She is so far gone.
She should be proof. Look, we can do it, because instead of bringing people down, you should bring people up.
She would say she's the exception. Her and Whoopi, they're the exception.
Testified for her son to go out there. I mean, even Megyn Kelly said it. That her son even goes to Harvard.
Yeah. Well, she should be worried about her son, because she's raised her son to be a racist. And any interaction her son has with white people that doesn't go her way or his way, he's going to take it as a racial slight.
Another thing, a comment that you made, we are not born racist. We are taught racism. No one is born racist. They are taught. If whatever color you are, it is what you are taught.
Well, let me give an example. About a week or so ago, I made a YouTube video about the gas shortage on YouTube. Okay. one of the gas stations I went to, unfortunately, I didn't have, I was done filming and I didn't get this on film, but the gas station attendant came and ran me off. And that footage, by the way, is, I told me I couldn't film their private property. And that video is not in my video, by the way. And the guy came out and he was very angry at me. He was very confrontational and everything else. If I'm Sonny Hostin's son, I think he's running me off because I'm black. And it's a racial incident, and that escalates things. The guy was
Brian, that us in the right, we don't see them as white, Hispanic. We see them as Americans. You know, that's it. We're all Americans. It doesn't matter what color we are in the outside. In the inside, we're the same color.
Well, you know, listen. Unfortunately, you know, some people will always feel like victims, but they have, you know, Sonny Hostin's a very dangerous person because of her position. She has a terrible influence. Look what happened with Joy Reid. You know, that Waukesha Christmas parade massacre after Rittenhouse was a direct result of Joy Reid, right? And boom, and no one. That's why that case disappeared too, just like the Nashville shooting.
The Democrats' cases all disappear.
That's right.
They all disappear, but they keep running with the cases that they're a Republican.
You know,
and they're attacking Catholic churches now. We're an extremist group now.
Well, they have undercover FBI agents inside the Catholic churches. And the reason they're doing that is the pro-life movement is most active in the Catholic Church. So they're trying to infiltrate the pro-life movement.
I know it's horrible, but we've got to keep praying to stay united.
That's right. All right, Berta, take care. Thanks for the call. You know, I'm all for women's lib and equality and all that stuff, but there's some situations that just should not be this way. There's a terrible story that I was reading this morning, and it happened here in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area. Did you hear about this? A Florida man has been charged in the kidnapping and the kidnapping and rape. See, I'm all on race too, so I said race. A Florida man in Tampa has been charged in kidnapping and the rape of a DoorDash driver. And the DoorDash driver who was kidnapped and raped was a female, okay? A 38-year-old Florida man has been arrested and charged with a host of offenses, including aggravated battery with a weapon, armed sexual battery as well, in connection to the April 18th kidnapping and rape of a woman in her 20s working as a DoorDash driver. New York Post is reporting that the woman was working as a food delivery driver in the Tampa Bay area. Around 11 p.m., she was allegedly taken at gunpoint by the suspect and sexually assaulted. The woman's family located her after she was in distress and arrived to rescue her, and the suspect allegedly opened fire on her family members when they showed up to rescue her. Oh, my goodness. Okay. This is just my opinion. You know, my wife and I, we use DoorDash and we use Instacart. And most of the drivers are women, in particular for Instacart. Mostly they're women. And I got news for you. This is not something that women should be doing unescorted. I saw this documentary a few years ago on Netflix about Ted Bundy. I think it's the Bundy Tapes one. And Ted Bundy was while he did not do all of his killing in Florida, he's notorious in Florida because of the FSU sorority house massacre. So, you know, I grew up with that and just a terrible thing. But in this documentary, they were talking to one of these serial killer FBI profiling experts, and they said there was a rise in serial killers in the 70s and 80s, in particular in the 70s. And the reason that was, they said, is because for the first time in the 70s, women started going out and about without a male escort because women's lib, I don't need some man with me. And that opened them up to getting snatched like this DoorDash driver. And I'm not saying women can't be DoorDash drivers, but would you want your wife or your daughter working as a DoorDash driver going to, or an Instacart driver going to the homes of people? Now, when we have the drivers come, we have them put everything on the front porch. We don't let them in the house, you know. But this is just, it's dangerous. And this isn't sexist. There's just some situations where women should not be doing these things alone because they get themselves in situations that are unknown. And it's just like the ride sharing drivers. You know, I tell you, you know, the ride sharing, you know, I see a lot of the Uber and Lyft drivers when I'm coming in the morning because it's the, you know, I'm driving on the road when the late night bars closed, and you know, the peak for Lyft and Uber is when the bars are closing, right? And women should not be driving for Uber and Lyft. I've taken Uber and Lyft, and I've had male and female drivers, and women just should not be doing that. It's very dangerous. I mean, you hear instances of passengers getting in trouble all the time by these predators, right? But no, women should not be delivering things to people's homes without an escort. They should have a guy in, you know, if my daughter was a DoorDash driver, and I couldn't talk her out of it, I'd be going out on the deliveries with her, right? I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that my daughter was going to the homes of people doing that stuff. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's wrong and it's sexist. Women can do anything men can do, and women are just as good as the boys. Really? If women are just as good as the boys, why did Leah Thomas win all those races in the swimming pool? It's not true, you know. And you see this a lot of times you see these stories of one I've talked about before that really burns me are the women joggers that are out jogging by themselves. They get snatched, they get killed, they get raped. These are women in peak physical condition, and most of the guys that snatch them are fat, overweight, out of shape, but they're still stronger than a woman who's in peak physical condition. And if women were equal to men in these situations, we wouldn't have this debate over the transgendered women in sports, right? Because the women would be able to beat them, but they can't. So no, there's certain things women should not be doing. One of them is driving for DoorDash, especially at night, but it doesn't matter. It can happen during the day too. Well, listen, that's all the time we have for today. It's nice to see that the rains have stopped just in time for me to hit the road. Listen, we've had some great calls today and a lot of topics we covered today. We'll be back tomorrow, of course. And don't forget, if you ever miss a portion of the program, you can always pick it up on our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com. About an hour after we sign off every day, the show is uploaded as a podcast at trueoldiesfla.com. So if you miss a show or part of a show, you can catch it there. They're archived forever. Or if you've called in and you want to hear your call or save your call, you can get it there as well. trueoldiesfla.com. All right. Well, listen, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Lots of things happening. I just saw Ron DeSantis just met with the Japanese prime minister and took a picture with him. Well, hey, that's on. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. God bless Donald Trump.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK.
All right, guys, I got to run, but I'll see you soon. Take care.